We can't be the guys that's gonna be timid and not knowing what's going on. You play hard, you play together. I mean, that's all we ask.
This is what we all have to do.
Be locked in, focus, just be disciplined, all right?
Now I feel like Kyrie, I'ma have to take the shot. If they tryna call me dog, I gotta hit the block. Started from the bottom, but we made it to the top. And I told them time is money, that's why I don't ever stop. I got my black hoodie with a rollie on, eating pasta like Corleone. I don't got time for no fake boy. If you got the money, gon' show me some. I got 2 whips and I'm self-paid. Never got help, bro, I'm self-made. Started from the bottom, but we made it to the top. And I told them time is money, that's why I don't ever stop. Hey, what up, Sig? Home up in the studio, said I'm locked in. My stock going way up, I got options. Yeah, they fine, but stop playing, you not him. Wait, the numbers going up.
Hello, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back into Centex Primetime. I am your host, Jalen Gillis. As we get ready to bring you through the primetime topics in sports, not just here locally in the Central Texas area, but from all around the nation. We want to thank everybody for tuning in with us here today on this beautiful Football Monday. So we've got plenty of football to talk about. NFL had another really great week. College had another interesting week. One of the biggest comebacks in school history we've seen out of Texas A&M. We'll talk about that a little bit. And, of course, high school football playoffs started last weekend, so we've got to talk about some of those as well. Hey, we want to thank everybody for tuning in with us on Centex Sports Network. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, like and share the stream. We got a lot to talk about. You guys saw in the title. We definitely have to talk about Shedeur Sanders getting his first action in the NFL. We'll talk about that. We'll talk a little bit about your Dallas Cowboys playing tonight. I know everybody getting ready for that game, probably getting to the gas station. Get your last-minute Dos Equis, whatever you got to get before the game starts tonight. Cowboys on Monday Night Football versus Las Vegas Raiders. That coming on in about an hour and a half, so we'll talk about that. We'll talk some more about college football. We'll also talk about some headlines going on. James Franklin has already found himself a job before the season is even over with in college football. We'll talk about what's going on with Jamar Chase being suspended now for spitting on Jalen Ramsey and all type of craziness. So plenty to talk about here on Centex Primetime today, folks. So we're going to jump straight into it. Once again, thanks everybody for tuning in here with us today. More MCC sports this week, more MCC basketball this week. Thursday and Friday, we'll have MCC basketball. Last week, we had a super full week of MCC basketball. They played Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. We also had a couple of high school football games. I got a chance to check out my alma mater, Midway, as they got beat down in the first round of the playoffs at home. Also had a huge, really good game that was big for not only the city, but for that program and university getting the win with their backup quarterback in the playoffs. Huge win against Fort Bend Marshall, who's a perennial powerhouse in Texas high school football. So we'll talk about all that here today. Thanks, everybody, tuning in as we're going to jump right into it. Joining me here at the table, we got the WISD Hall of Famer, former Texas Tech Red Raider, and former San Diego Charger, Mr. Wayne Walker in the building. Wayne, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on, Jalen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Lovely week of football.
Man, a great week. All 3 levels. We got a really good week of football this past weekend. I want to jump straight into the NFL with, I guess, the biggest overarching topic, and that is Shedeur Sanders getting his first action in the NFL, something we've all been waiting on to see. I said at the beginning of the season, hey, just wait around. His time is gonna come. You don't have to throw him into the fire early. Something's gonna happen where this dude is gonna get an opportunity. After Joe Flacco got traded, definitely everybody's ears were pinned and waiting to see, all right, when is Shedeur gonna get his chance? Unfortunately, on Sunday, Dylan Gabriel got an injury, had to go through concussion protocol. He was ruled out in that game right at the end of that second quarter. So Shedeur gets a chance to jump in. I think Dylan Gabriel will most likely be out for next week's game as well. Yeah. So Shedeur will be preparing as a starter, but gets his first action in the game yesterday against probably one of their toughest and biggest rivals in the Baltimore Ravens, who were struggling, playing against this Cleveland defense, who is still one of the best units in the league. I know they're 2-8, and I know it's the Browns, and everybody likes to rag on the Browns. But what Myles Garrett is doing, If they were even around 500, Wayne, this guy would have to be in the conversation for MVP.
Oh,
You
no
have a
doubt.
game where you get 5 sacks against the Patriots. You backdoor that a couple of weeks later, get 4 sacks in this game. That's 9 sacks in 2 games. You get 9 sacks in the season, you looking at $100 million almost. This dude gets that in 2 games.
Yeah, well, he's already the highest paid
Yeah,
defensive
he
player
is,
in the
he
league.
is.
So, I mean, you can't pay him you can pay him some
Yeah,
more because
yeah,
he's their whole defense.
He might come back to the drawing board this summer and say, hey,
yeah.
let's work out another contract.
Well, it's just talent being wasted, man,
Yeah, it
with
really
this
is.
guy's effort and what he's doing for his team. 9 sacks in 2 games. I mean, that's unheard of. So
that is unheard of. To see the production that Myles Garrett is getting, his team wasn't able to reciprocate that, at least on the offensive end. The defense held Lamar to probably his worst game of the season, 193 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions to go along with it. But the Ravens still find a way to win 23-16. Shedeur comes in right before half, gets a couple of completions, gets the entire second half to work, but didn't have anything. I mean, shout out to Zach Orr, the defensive coordinator of the Baltimore Ravens, because he said, look, we got a rookie that we all know. Just if I know and I'm a fan, I'm positive the coaches know this guy hasn't gotten 1 rep with the first team. The offensive line don't know his cadence, nothing. Let's just blitz him. Let's not drop back. We don't need no disguised coverage. Let's just send the house every single time this guy drops back. That's exactly what they did. Shedeur was hit over and over, and Shedeur even admitted after the game that was his first time getting hit since the last time he got hit at Colorado in the Alamo Bowl. That was December of last year. That was his last time getting hit because in OTAs and training camp and in practice, they're not going out there and hitting the quarterbacks. So this dude hadn't really even been hit like that since Colorado, outside of the 1 preseason game that he got some action. But this is the first time he got some real live reps. He struggled in it. He went 4 for 16, 47 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception, threw an interception on, I think, his second drive in the game. No real sparks outside of that very last drive. He had a good pass to Harold Fannin, another rookie, across the middle of the field. Gave his receiver probably one of the best ball he could have given him on a chance at a touchdown at the end.
Yeah,
the DB made a great play, keeping his hands there, exactly what they teach you when you're a DB, swatting at the ball at the last second, ended up punching it out, and that pretty much sealed the fate of the Cleveland Browns. So after the game, they asked Shedeur about it, and, hey, he was just happy to get reps. He admitted to them getting no reps in that game, or him getting no reps with the first team. They asked Coach Kevin Stefanski about it after the game. Was it the first time Shedeur's gotten first-team reps? He said yes. Now, I'll get into that part after, Wayne. I want to ask you first about what did you think about Shedeur getting into this game, getting his first live action, and seeing how he played in that 1 half that he got to play?
Well, as an NFL player, you're always like 1 play away, injury, and but you're usually prepared, especially as a quarterback, because injuries happen more than not. And so, when I played on that level, any type of pro football, even college, you have to take reps with the first team. If not, man, you're just gonna be lost It's like a deer in headlights, really, because you're not used to the players, you're not used to the routes, you're not used to the cadence, you're not used to putting your hands up underneath the center and getting a snap. But if you're not doing that, you're kind of set up to fail.
Yep.
To me, I just don't think he had a chance, and they didn't give him a fair opportunity if you don't get those reps during practice. I mean, that's live bullets. When you going through a drill and you dodging fake bullets, that's different from going out and trying to dodge real bullets. It's a different thing. So, man, I feel for him because he didn't get really. When you want to go out and you want to play your best and you want to put your best on the line, you can't do it if you're not prepared, and he wasn't prepared. So, to me, he was set up to fail.
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree with you 100% on this. I've already seen people coming out, and you knew what would happen because there's so many people that don't like Shedeur already for whatever their reason is. It could be his dad, it could be how he acts, whatever their reason is, and not liking him. There's lots of people that don't like him, and they're already coming out. And, you see what happens. You push Shedeur in the game, and he goes 4 for 16. But you just alluded to the nuances that go into it. The offensive line admitted to never hearing his snap count before because they've never gotten 1 rep with this guy.
And I mean, there's a lot of distraction going on in that organization, from the top all the way down to the 53rd man on that team. And as a player, you're kind of like, man, enough is enough.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we need to be paying more attention to what Myles Garrett is doing, and not so much on the Shedeur and the Stefanski. I guess what I want to say,
Yeah,
like
disconnect between them. I don't know
between
what's
these
going
two
on.
guys. But if you're gonna play this guy, you drafted him in the 5th round. You drafted him for a reason. So if he should have a fair opportunity to make the ball club, and he should get the same opportunity that Dylan Gabriel's getting, or anybody else on that team is getting. And I just don't think they're doing that with this guy. And they sabotaging and they setting him up to fail. To me, that's my personal opinion, and
I agree with you 100%. I mean, the level of malpractice, I think, in which we've seen with Shedeur Sanders is unreal, and I actually have no idea how Coach Kevin Stefanski still has his job. After seeing the way that this unfolded, all season we've had questions. Man, why won't you even say Shedeur's name? Why do they say, hey, well, can this guy get a look? And you say, we're not focused on that.
Well, it's a distraction. And if it was going to be that big of a distraction for you, you shouldn't have drafted him.
Traded up to draft.
But when you draft him now, he becomes your responsibility as a coach to develop him and to make him a better ball player. And they haven't done that with this guy. So I don't know what to say. It's almost like they're wanting him to fail, and that's not good.
That's exactly what it looks like. You want this guy to, because it's coaching malpractice on not only Shedeur, but your entire team, to say that I won't even prepare our backup quarterback because Dylan Gabriel is invincible and he's made a steal and there's nothing that. Every situation. I heard Cam Newton on ESPN this morning say his backup quarterback for most of his career was Derek Anderson. And he said he took 6 to 7 snaps with the first team per practice.
Yeah,
That's 3 to 4 practices a week for 16 weeks plus OTAs plus training camp.
Right.
He did that per practice. Shedeur has never thrown a ball.
And they usually do. They usually do, because anything can happen. You could hurt your ankle. Your shoe could come off on one play, and then the backup has to go in.
Yeah.
So you have to be prepared for that. And for a professional organization not to be prepared for that, that's a travesty, man.
Yeah, it's a coaching malpractice. You're doing a dishonor to your team, a disservice to your team. If they can do that for Cam Newton, he said that was in his MVP season. So there's no question that Cam is going to be the starter or not. Yeah, and this guy's still getting reps.
But that's at every position.
Exactly. At every single position.
That's not just quarterback, but that's at every position. I mean, if you're the 6th or the 7th receiver, you have to know what everybody at those other, the Y, the Y, the X, the Z, you got to know what those guys are doing as well, because you don't never know when your name is going to be called, so you have to be prepared for that.
And they were not prepared for this situation at all. It's actually terrible to see from Stefanski, and then have no explanation, no answer. Well, why didn't he get any reps? Why are you keeping this guy in the shadow so much? You don't even want to say his name. You don't want to bring him up. You refuse to give him any reps. Dylan Gabriel got first-team reps from the first practice of training camp. And at that time, he was the 3rd quarterback on the roster. From the very first practice of training camp, he was getting reps alongside Kenny Pickett, alongside Joe Flacco. Shedeur never got the reps. He never got the reps. And now we're in week 11, and offensive linemen are coming out after the game saying we didn't even know what his voice sounded like in the huddle. He said, that's the first pass I've ever thrown to Jerry Jeudy in my life. This guy's on the football team with you. That is very strange to say.
Even when you go in individual, which is the quarterback and the receiver throwing route, a lot of times you're going to get whatever quarterback that comes up. And that might be the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd team quarterback, but you're going to catch the ball from each and every quarterback on that roster, because that's just the way things go. You may even have pat and go, which is just practice and you just warming up. But you're going to catch balls from that quarterback. And I don't understand that. I don't know what type of practices they run, because everybody runs practices different. But I know one thing. Any organization that I've been to, NFL, college, CFL, AFL, you catch passes from each and every quarterback.
It's ridiculous, and it goes back to the training camp stories when everybody was, everyone's just overreacting because of Shedeur. But there are multiple reports coming out of during training camp when you expect everybody to get reps. They said Dylan Gabriel's getting reps, Pickett's getting reps, Flacco, and Shedeur was literally throwing to buckets and trash cans on the other field because they didn't give him no reps with nobody. With the third string, the fourth string, the first string, the second, nobody. They said he was throwing to trainers and trash cans on the side.
Yeah,
like this is way deep. This had nothing to do with football. This is a clear dislike for a guy. You traded up to draft him in the 5th round. Traded up. What was the point of drafting him, dude?
Yeah.
If you didn't want to play him that bad,
if you're not going to give him an opportunity to get better, or to be successful, you shouldn't have drafted this guy. And that's the whole point of what we're talking about. Like, why haven't you given this guy the opportunity to be successful or to make plays for your team? At the end of the day, what you want to do is you want to win, and you want to put your team in the best position to win. So putting your team in the best position to win is preparing your backup quarterback to go out there and do what your starting quarterback can do as well. So that's just the disconnect between the team, the head coach, and the quarterback. Yeah. And I don't understand why.
A huge disconnect. And we're not getting any explanation why. No one knows why. The only thing we do know is, as Rocky said on here multiple times, football is going to football. So Shedeur was going to get his chance eventually. Now he gets his chance. Now he's going to get an actual week to prepare, to look at the starters, for them to figure out a cadence, for them to set a game plan. And it's going to go in against the team that you want to see. Okay, can a starting quarterback go out here? Can he be a starter in this league? You're going to get a chance to play the Raiders, who are getting ready to play in a second. But we don't think the Raiders are good. They're 2-7 for a reason. He's going to get a chance to play against them. Might even play against Kenny Pickett, which is kind of strange because Geno's been battling injuries the last couple of weeks. So that'll actually be kind of weird if Shedeur plays against Pickett, who he's sit behind earlier in the year. But now he's going to get a chance to get a real game plan and stuff like that. I saw some flashes for Shedeur, but I'm not even going to go up here and pretend to try to get his dude a grade on what we saw out of him. We saw horrible blocking.
That's called incomplete, man.
Yeah,
that's incomplete.
Exactly.
I mean, if you're going to grade him, that's incomplete because he hadn't had a fair opportunity. I mean, you giving him a test and you don't even it can't even be open book because you taking a test. Just imagine taking a test and you don't even know the answers to it. You just go in there, you just
That's exactly what it was.
And that's what it is, really.
He's never thrown to none of those guys. He don't know how they like to come out their routes. They don't know when he's gonna say hut because they don't even know his cadence. Like there's so many levels and so many things that go into it. Why he's up there.
Sabotage, man.
That's exactly what it is. That's why I'm not gonna give him a grade. I'm not gonna listen to the people coming out and saying. And then you see the Rex Ryan on ESPN this morning. They pick out the smallest stuff. They said, well, after the game, he was over there on the bench on the sideline by himself. Now, how many quarterbacks have we seen that? We don't seen Jalen Hurts. He got a lock screen on his phone from him after losing the game, sitting on the bench by himself, just thinking about the game. Now, why Shedeur can't do that? He's got to lose the game, but he's also got to go cheer his team up. He's also got to go pat everybody on the back. I guess he's supposed to pass out the water to everybody on the sideline, too.
I heard that, too, and they say Lamar was looking for him to shake hands. Well, man, I mean,
is that his job to go and shake his hand now?
Well, he was thinking about it. And most of the time, quarterbacks do go and shake hands.
Yeah, they do.
And I probably would have because you want some words of wisdom from a guy that they put in almost in the same predicament when he was coming out.
Yes.
You know, but he went in the first round, but he should have been one of those top 5 picks.
Should have been the number 1 pick, probably.
And he goes at the bottom of the draft or bottom of the first round. So, I mean, words of wisdom would have been fine, but Shedeur wasn't thinking about that at the time. He's thinking about how he played. He's taking it hard on himself. But at the end of the day, Cleveland Browns are giving him an opportunity to be successful, man. They bombed it. They bombed it on this one, and
this entire situation was malpractice.
And you either need to get rid of him, or you need to give him an opportunity to try to get better, because it's hurting your whole organization. And I know as a player, and if I was in that locker room, that it's a distraction. It's a distraction. And when this guy came in the game, all you heard the biggest roar you probably heard all year in Cleveland.
Absolutely.
But did his teammates support him? I don't think so. Did his coaching staff support him? I don't think so. But everybody around that city in Cleveland supported him. And that's making money for your organization. And if you don't want to make money, then what are you doing? because you're not winning.
You're not
so
winning.
if you're not winning, you need to be making money. So I don't know exactly what they're doing in Cleveland, and
no one does.
and I don't think they know what they're doing either, Jalen. So.
No, I think they're just guessing. Everything that we've seen so far is winging it. It's been malpractice from the jump. Why do you draft Dylan Gabriel in the 3rd round if you're going to draft Shedeur in the 5th? Or why do you draft Shedeur in the 5th if you just drafted Gabriel? Like, everything has been strange about all the things that they've done so far. Why do you not go out and get any receivers?
They put themselves in that position. They put themselves in that position by drafting 2 quarterbacks and within a couple of rounds. And so my deal is next year you're probably going to be in the works for a quarterback again. They'll probably draft a quarterback in the 1st round.
Yeah,
and then you're going to put him back in the same position.
Same position.
Because that's what you're lacking, a quarterback. Then, on top of that, then you have Deshaun Watson coming back, a guy that got hurt, and you paid $232 million, and you don't know what to do with him.
He's going to get 40 next year.
Yeah. So, I mean, what are they doing? What are they doing?
Nobody knows.
And my deal is they probably shouldn't even have drafted a quarterback this year
No.
if you were going to do it, and they were going to play it out this way. Even Dylan Gabriel. And Dylan Gabriel doesn't deserve that because they drafted him first.
Yeah, yep.
So he's getting scrutinized because of Shedeur.
Mm-hmm.
And Shedeur was a better college ball player than he was, and Shedeur hadn't got the opportunity he has. So now you make it funny and you make it crazy for both of them.
For both of them. And Shedeur even spoke about that. He said before it even started, he said, I'm not, he said the fans and everybody cheers when I come in or when Gabriel gets hurt. He's like, I'm not about none of that. Gabriel's a good dude. And he's a good player. As long as he's out, if he's the starter, he's the starter. If I'm the starter, I'm the starter.
It ain't his fault. It's the organization's fault. And it's Stefanski's fault because he's the coach and he's supposed to be the offense coordinator and a good offense coordinator. So he gets to choose and he gets to do what he wants to do as far as picking who he wants to be his quarterback.
These guys drafted 2 quarterbacks, and they only had 7 picks. 2 of the picks was quarterbacks. 2 of the picks was running backs. You draft in the same positions over and over. Your best player on offense is a tight end. You draft a tight end. Like there's just things that it's like, okay, what are we doing? What direction did you see when you said, all right, let's go out here and get these draft picks? You hit on Schweiniger, the linebacker. He had a tremendous game yesterday. He's turning into a young star.
And I think they hit on Junkins or whatever.
Definitely hit on Quinshon Junkins. I think Harold Fanning was a really good pick to tight end. But it's just the direction. What direction are they going with this team? I don't know that.
Yeah.
I don't think they know it.
And the thing about it is you have a really good defense. The defense is Super Bowl type defense, but then you have an offense that's probably ranked 31, 32 in the whole league.
Last in the league. Got to be right near last in the league. So this whole situation is very strange. But like I said, the rainbow on the other side of this is Shedeur is about to get an entire week to prep. He's going to get a full game plan, and he's going to get to go and play a full game. And then we can come back a week from today, and then we can judge, okay, is this guy ready to play? Did he show things that he can do? How much time did he get? Is preparing a game plan for him work? All of those questions can get answered. Right now, I like your answer. It's incomplete right now. There's no way you can give him a grade on what we saw yesterday.
No, it's incomplete.
Yeah, there's no way you can give him a grade on that.
No doubt about it.
And the Ravens did what they were supposed to do. They found a way to win. Even though when they were struggling to the highest level, they still go out there and find a way to win a football game. And that's what you're supposed to do if you're the Ravens. So shout out to the Ravens for going and get that done. There was a lot of other good games on this last Sunday slate going in. One of the biggest games, probably the biggest game of the weekend, was Kansas City and Denver going into this. Kansas City, obviously, always a big draw. I think in their last 14 games against Denver, they're 13-1, which is crazy because Denver's been a good team for some years now, and Kansas City has always found a way to have their number in the entire Mahomes era. But before the season started, Wayne, we both agreed on this. We thought the Broncos were going to be the top tier the top team in this division because of their defense. Their defense is literally on a historic pace right now. Could break the sack record from the 85 Bears, which is crazy. That record's been up for 40-something years. No one's been able to break it. These guys have a chance to be able to do that. They're loaded top to bottom on the defensive side of the ball. The offensive side of the ball, they struggle, but they found ways to win. That's all you can ask for out of an offense. Hey, go find us a way to win. The defense was able to do it. Mahomes tried to put on the cake last night and deliver a win. He did as much as he could do, but they weren't able to come out successful in this. They dropped to 5-5 now on the season. It's been a while since we've seen these Chiefs playing at 500 football. They dropped to 5-5. On the other side of that, Denver's 9-2. They're 6-0 at home. They're playing really, really good football. What do you think about Denver getting a win yesterday over the Chiefs?
And they're doing this without their two best defensive players, two of their best defensive players. They're doing it without the defensive player of the year.
Of the year, yep.
So, I mean, that tells you how good their defense is. But, man, they're young. They fly to the ball. And it's an old saying. And that old saying is defense wins championships.
Absolutely.
It wins Super Bowl and Super Bowls. And they have an opportunity to do that because they're young. And their defense is going to be a team that's going to go out and get turnovers. And they have this Ben. Did you see that Kansas City only got one touchdown yesterday? Everything else was when they got into that red zone, everything tightened up. And you talking about arguably the best quarterback in NFL history, and Patrick Mahomes, who's been in the last 3 Super Bowls, and they had no answers. And you talk about everybody talked about Kansas City when they got Rashee Rice back and Xavier Worthy back, them possibly being so balanced on offense and being able to do so much since they had these playmakers back, and they wasn't able to do anything yesterday.
No, they weren't able to do it. Wasn't able to run the ball at a high clip yesterday. Kareem Hunt did okay, but the short game is not the same for Mahomes and the Chiefs. I can't tell exactly. I don't know if it's because they have the deep threat. They got Brown, they got Worthy, they got those things, but they have not been clicking. And it started with last season. Last season they weren't clicking. They just Mahomes, Andy Reid, Steve Spagnuolo. Their knowledge is so far up here that they just know how to win football games. They've got so used to winning.
And people used to be afraid of them, you know.
Yeah.
So
nobody's afraid of them now.
Reputation alone used to win football games for Kansas City, but nobody's afraid of them. And Denver is a team that for the last 2 years has just kind of been on the upswing, and you can see they could easily be 11-0 right now.
Yes.
They should be.
Yeah,
at least 10-1. But one game they lost on the last second field goal, and then one game it was a call that kind of got it. So both of those games came down to a point to where they should have won and they could have won, and so they could easily be 11-0, but they're 9-2, and. Man, I think they're the beasts of the AFC.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. I think Denver is the scariest team in the AFC, not only because they have the best defense in the league, but because they shown, Bo Nix has shown, Sean Payton has showed, we'll just find a way to win. There's games they have where Bo Nix wins and he throws for 4 touchdowns. There's multiple games they have where he wins and he throws no touchdowns. He'll run the ball if he needs to. They'll run the QB power if they need to with him. However they find a way to win, they find a way to win week in and week out. And that becomes a habit, as you spoke about before, even last year when we talked about the Chiefs. That becomes a habit. Now we just know how to go out there and win.
And so when you talk about the AFC, you talk about Indianapolis, you talk about Denver, and you talk about New England probably right now.
Yeah,
and
New
those
England
teams. And then if you look at it, the team that scares me the most is the Denver Broncos.
Denver. And like you said, they're doing their defense play one of the best games of the season last week or yesterday, and they didn't have the defensive player of the year.
Yeah,
I didn't think it'd be a day where I would see, man, a dude that looks like Riley Moss or Cooper DeJean is like that at DB. But Riley Moss, I don't know if he went to the school of Pat Surtain or whatever, but he is a guy out there at DB. And then you draft a Jade Barron. Great job of drafting this past offseason. You drafted Jade Barron out there. Yeah. So if Surtain is hurt, we still got Moss and Barron out here playing good football. Jade Barron had a pick six that got called back in that game.
And they did this with that Russell Wilson trade. So just think about it. They traded a lot to Seattle, and I mean a lot of draft capital, and
dead cap.
After
they cut him.
Yeah, exactly. So, kudos to the Denver Broncos, man, because they're on another level, and I think they're the best team in the league right now.
And you look at when you look around the room and see all the guys making plays, they drafted these guys. I mean, it's almost New England Patriots-esque when you think back to the old Patriots. They drafted these dudes. Troy Franklin has become probably their lead target guy outside of Cortland Sutton. They drafted him. Pat Bryant, they drafted this past year out of Illinois. he had a game where he had 80-something yards. You
But
look
that
at the
whole
defense.
defense, they
They
drafted.
drafted the whole defense. They got
Except for got one guy from San Francisco.
yeah.
But that's about it. But
Outside
everybody
of
else is
outside of Dre Greenlaw and Zach Allen, everybody else got drafted. They moved off of Von Miller. They moved off of Bradley Chubb.
Yeah.
They moved off of guys that were high-paid guys, knowing they had a Benito that they drafted out of Oklahoma, knowing that they had all these other guys. So man, I love what they've done on both sides of the ball.
And that's what you want to do. You
Yes.
want to develop your players, Cleveland. You want to
Yeah,
develop your
exactly.
players. If you draft them, you want to develop them, and you want to work with them, and you want to give them every opportunity because you drafted them for a reason, and you have to have a game plan. You have to have a blueprint when you draft to build your team, and if you don't, you're going to be in trouble. And clearly, Denver has the right blueprint.
Yeah, Denver's got it, man, and they've got a championship experienced coach with Sean Payton that knows what he's doing, that demands a certain level of play out of both sides of the ball, man. So Denver.
So check this out, though, Jalen. You remember they got beat 70-13 by Miami Dolphins, and that was last year, right?
Yeah, last year, yeah.
And ever since then, they've been on, And everybody was talking about fire Sean Payton.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody was
Oh,
talking
yeah.
about Raheem Morris, talking about firing him. But man, these guys, this is a good football team, and I could
Really
easily
good.
see them in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Because everything is going to go through Denver.
Absolutely. I think, and the next team I'm about to talk about in the Eagles is similar to this. Everybody talks about Jalen Hurts. He can do this. He can't do this. Everybody talks about Bo Nix. He can or can't do this. What I know they can do is find a way to win football games. And that's what I want out of a quarterback. We've watched the ascension, and you know, we got revisionist history and look back at just what just happened recently. But we saw what Tom Brady turned into. But if you look back at them first 3 Super Bowls, man, he was winning, got 150 yards in the Super Bowl. He got 170 yards. He's just doing what they need to win.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not about
But it
going
was
out
all
there
about
and throw
defense.
for 300-400. Yeah,
But it was all about
all
defense,
about
yeah.
defense, and
It's
that's
all
the
about
way that they
defense.
want it. That they're winning it right now in Denver.
And historically, if you look over the years, the teams with the best defenses have been the ones that win. Probably except for the Rams when they did it, you know.
Yeah, Peyton a couple times
Peyton,
when he
yeah,
won
yeah.
in Indy.
But other than that, it's been
Defense.
defensive-minded teams that has done it. When you talk about Tampa Bay, you talk about Baltimore over the year, you talk about Philadelphia, was kind of balanced. But you look at all these teams that has won Super Bowl. You look at San Francisco, the Super Bowls
Definitely.
they won. It's been defense or it's been balanced. Yeah, so you can easily see that kind of trend in this year when you talk about Philadelphia and you talk about who we're talking about now, Philadelphia, and you talk about Denver, and you talk about New England.
Yes, man, New England, great offseason. And I said it the whole offseason. These guys are having the best offseason out of anybody. I had no idea he would translate to wins this quickly. Mike Vrabel, for sure, is a shoe-in for Coach of the Year, in my opinion. You take a team that was picking top 5 in the draft the last 2, 3, 4 years in a row, and in your first year there, y'all are already sitting at 9-2 in front of the Bills, who everybody was ready to give Josh Allen his second MVP before the season started, and they're going to be the top team and all that. And look at what New England's doing now.
I don't see them getting out. I mean, because
I haven't liked nothing I've seen out of Buffalo this year, in my opinion.
No.
They won yesterday. It was a good win over a decent Tampa team. They were able to put up points, but it's just too sporadic with their offense. There's nothing to go to about their offense. Their offense is, hey, Josh, what are you going to do this week? Who's going to get the ball this week? Who are you going to get the ball to this week? How many yards are you going to rush for? How many are you going to throw for? Outside of that, that's not a winning recipe, in my opinion. Yeah. When you just put it all on one guy's shoulders and say, take us there, that's not a winning recipe. Not in the NFL, because eventually that's going to wear out, especially when you get into the playoffs. I want to talk about the Eagles. They found another way to win on Sunday Night Football last night against the Detroit Lions. They gave us another boring game. They gave us a boring one last week on primetime television. This was another boring game, I guess you could say. But what I got out of this was, and I was already thinking it the last couple of weeks, I think this Philadelphia defense is better than it was last year. And Philly's defense was crazy last year. That's why they won the Super Bowl. Defense they have this year, they can lock you up from every spot on the field. Quinyon Mitchell is a true number 1 shutdown corner. They go and get guys that people consider washed up, like a Dory Jackson. That was a former top 10 pick in the draft. He's played decent so far this year. They're drafting with Jahai Campbell, had a good game. Nakobe Dean is back, and that makes the defense look different. Jalen Carter is still unblockable. All these guys that they've drafted, Jordan Davis, that they've been able to use out there as well. This defense is so good. Each and every week, we're watching these guys completely shut people out. I know the offense has struggled. The offense is continuing to struggle. But what I do have is faith in Jalen Hurts. I got faith in this offense that when it comes down to make a winning play, they just come out with a winning play. And that is how you go out there and win football games. I watched Kansas City get to 3 Super Bowls in a row doing it when their offense was struggling. But when it came to crunch time, Mahomes made the plays. I watched Tom Brady do it for 20 years with a struggling offense. But outside of the 2 years, he had Randy Moss. And they go out there and find ways to win games. Right. Philadelphia finds a way to win again over Detroit last night. What you think about Philly's win on Sunday Night Football?
Defensive-minded again. Yeah. They're just doing enough to win. And, the addition of Phillips at defensive end adds another element to their defense.
Great pick.
So, but they're strong. Their defensive line, their defensive front is strong. So they playing 3 levels, and all 3 levels are strong in their defense. When you talk about defensive line, the linebacker core, and the defensive backfield. So I think they're the head of the class in the NFC. I mean, if you look at it, a Detroit team that was scoring over 30 points a game, and then you go and you shut these guys out, they go for it on 4th down 5 times and not 1 time get it. I mean, and man, that's defense.
Yeah.
And then the offense, you got some playmakers on offense. You got 2 good wide receivers. You got probably the best running back in the league. You got a quarterback that's probably middle of the pack in the league, but it's just a winner, and it's going to do just enough to get you a victory. And so and he's a Super Bowl champion. So all that adds up to winning.
Yes.
You know,
and that's all he is.
And that's what they need to do. If I'm a receiver and I know I'm not getting a lot of passes my way or whatever, I'm not mad. All I want to do is win. It's about Super Bowl wins. And when you get older, you're not going to care about all the accolades.
Yeah.
You're measured by how many of these you have on your hand.
Especially when you know you're going to consistently get opportunities to keep writing your name in the history books in the playoffs. That's where the big money games show up. That's what gets guys paid going on. We hear Michael Irvin talking about it all the time. People always want to, this receiver is better, this receiver. It's a guy that won on every level and made the biggest plays in the biggest games.
Yeah.
So if you're A.J. Brown, if you're Devontae Smith, there's no reason to get mad now. You're going to get the opportunity in those big games.
So if you want to live forever,
exactly.
You want your name to live on forever, you have to get to that last game and you have to win that game. And your name will live on forever.
Yeah.
I mean, so you'll be celebrated forever. So it's all about that. It's all about getting that on your hand, that ring.
Exactly. And they got another chance. I see Philly, honestly, getting right back to that Super Bowl. Because we can say whatever we want about their offense and the struggles, but that defense is no joke at all.
And I see Philadelphia and the Rams as those 2 teams.
Yeah.
You know,
just like we said in preseason. I got to start tuning in and listening. But we tried to tell y'all in the preseason it was going to be Philly and the Rams. Now, there's still plenty of football left to get played.
No
but right
doubt.
now, it's looking pretty right. The Rams look good. They found a way to win yesterday against Seattle, who also looks really, really good as well. The Rams are sitting right there at the top. Surprisingly, the Bears are right there at the top of their division. Not even just struggling somewhere around the middle of the pack. They're sitting at number 1 in their division right now with a chance to still gain more ground because they're still going to play Green Bay again. They're still going to play Detroit again in there. Looking at both of these conferences, I'll start in the AFC. Obviously, we just said the Denver Broncos, the New England Patriots, the Indianapolis Colts. Those are your teams that we're looking at. We talked about Denver and their chances of being able to go in. Who else is another team you could see as, man, these guys are serious contenders to be able to go to the Super Bowl, not just to have a good record in the regular season, but to be able to make it and go all the way into the bowl, coming out of just the AFC right now?
Well, I'm not going to completely give up on Kansas City.
Yeah,
because, I mean, they have to make some type of adjustments. I mean, they've played more football in the last 3 years than anybody in the whole NFL. So sometimes your body just gets tired. And but I still haven't given because they got that number 15 back there.
Exactly.
And they got the best tight end in the league, and they got Super Bowl winners. So when, like I said, winning is conducive to winning, and it's just a habit. And these guys are not used to losing, and that's not a habit of theirs, losing. So I'm thinking if they can get on the roll, you know, it's no telling what they can do. And so I'm not going to give up on them. My Chargers, I kind of had high regard for those guys, but I don't know. I don't know.
It's
I don't.
very
I don't,
up and down so far this season.
Just they just don't. And Buffalo, I don't
Same
see
thing.
Buffalo because they don't have a defense, and they're not balanced enough on offense to do anything. They can't pass the ball. Then they go out and draft Keon Coleman, and I think he's been suspended a couple. I mean, so they don't have anybody really to throw the ball to. They don't have anybody on the outside that scares you. They went and signed Gabe Davis back, but they don't have anybody that threatens you and scares you. You got to have somebody on the offensive side of the ball that scares you. And the only person that they have on their offense that scares you is Josh Allen.
That's it.
Jacksonville, they kind of been up and down. They beat a good Kansas City team. They got a big victory yesterday, but it's a lot of things. They need more consistency out of Trevor Lawrence, and when he plays, but he's sporadic. You don't know which Trevor Lawrence you're going to get from week to week, so. He's going to have to play on a high level if they're going to be in that championship talk. So those are the teams that I think in the AFC that kind of scare me.
Yeah, those, definitely. New England sitting right at the top of there. I'm agreeing with you with Buffalo. They just don't have an identity like that. I know they have Josh Allen and everybody's, he was the MVP last year. All that is cool. The Buccaneers yesterday might be their best win of the season. You beat the Ravens on a very, very, very last second on the season opener. Outside of that, they've got 7 wins, but these aren't impressive wins. You beat the Dolphins, Saints, the Panthers, the Chiefs. I mean, it's a good win, but they're sitting at 5-5 right now. It's not like the Chiefs are the Chiefs of old in the last couple of years, but you got losses to the Patriots, you got losses to the Falcons, you got losses to the Dolphins. Those are all alarming losses on like, hey, what's going on here? So, and then with Kansas City, as bad as they played, they're sitting at 5-5 right now. They're 500, they're third in their division, but
they got a tough schedule.
They got a tough schedule coming up, but next week you got Indianapolis.
Yeah.
So you change everything up if you go out there and you beat an Indy. Then you get to play against the Cowboys, so you know your offense will have a good game against their defense. Your Texans, you get a chance to take out another potential playoff team. The Chargers right there in your division. The Broncos right there in your division.
So if you get on the roll, like I said, if they get on the roll, you know that Indianapolis game is going to be tough.
That's huge.
But they come in the Arrowhead.
Yeah.
So if they can get that victory and they can get on a little roll, I think they can end up in the playoffs. I think you can get 3 teams out of the AFC West. And I think you can get the Chargers, Denver, and you can get Kansas City out of there.
Yeah, I agree. I think all those guys can come out. Looking at the NFC, we talked about Philly, and we were talking about a pre-show. I think they're definitely the only team out the NFC East that's going to even have a chance to do anything. The North is loaded, as usual. Even as bad as Minnesota played, they're still sitting at 4-6. They get on the run, they're going to be lingering around that wild card spot, but the North has got Chicago, Green Bay, and Detroit all playing good football. And then the West has turned into sneakily the best division in the NFC with how well those guys have played. At the top of that is the Rams. But Seattle, I mean, it showed in the game yesterday. Seattle is right there with the Los Angeles Rams. And San Francisco is always going to be one of those teams as long as Shanahan is a coach. You're going to have to stump them out all the way to the very end. You can't just say, let's write them off, because they know how to win football games, regardless who's the quarterback, regardless who's the running back, regardless who's on defense, because their best 2 defensive players are out and their quarterback is out, and somehow they're still sitting at 7-4. But who are those monsters you think in the NFC that have a chance to be able to come out?
You alluded to them all. I mean, I see in the NFC East, that's South. I only see one team. It's going to either be Carolina or it's going to be Tampa. In the NFC East, I only see Philadelphia coming out. That's it. Dallas, Washington, neither one of those teams has impressed me at all. But then when you get to the NFC North and you talk about Detroit is going to be a playoff team. Green Bay is going to be a playoff team. Potentially Chicago. I don't trust Minnesota because of their quarterback inconsistencies. But I don't trust them. But they can get on the run too, but I don't trust them, and I don't think they'll go far because of their quarterback. But then when you talk about the NFC West, you talk about the Rams. They got a great victory yesterday at home.
Yeah.
But if you take that to Seattle, in which they're going to have to go, I think, and play in Seattle, then you can kind of give a leg up to Seattle on that.
Yep.
Or if the Rams go in there and win, you know they're the head of that class. But San Francisco, I think, is going to get beat by San Francisco. I mean, by LA and by Seattle.
Yep.
I just don't think they're not better than those two teams. So I give those two teams the nod on in that division. So those are the teams that scare me. But the class of it is Philadelphia. Philadelphia is scary, and what they did I thought was the best team in NFC yesterday was Detroit Lions with all their defensive players coming back and their explosive offense. I thought they were the guys, and with their offensive line, but they got dominated yesterday.
Yes.
They got beat down, and that was a
Start
beat
to
down.
finish.
And so I'm thinking that Philadelphia is the best team in the NFC East.
Yeah,
the NFC.
Philly's right there to make another Super Bowl run. The AFC is going to be super interesting because there's 3 teams all playing great football that aren't the Chiefs. And we've only seen the Chiefs come out of the AFC the last 3, 4, 5 years. Right. So we got 3 teams that aren't the Chiefs that all got a chance to do it. And then you can't even count out Baltimore and the Ravens because they got Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
So and they're finally getting healthy. Their entire team was hurt for the majority of the season, and they're finally getting healthy as well. So it's going to be a great finish leading up to it. Before we get off the NFL, the game tonight coming on in about an hour. Dallas and the Raiders. Obviously, neither team where they probably thought they would be before the season started. Obviously, not where the NFL thought they were going to be since they gave this a Monday night football game. What do you think we'll see out of the Cowboys? And I don't expect to see anything out of the Raiders on either side of the ball, honestly. But what do you think we'll see out of the Cowboys in this game tonight? They're only favored by 3 points, so Vegas doesn't think.
And the Cowboys go as Dak go.
Yeah.
To me.
Yep.
If he's hot and he's on, they're going to have a big game. They should win this game. The Raiders don't have the defense. The only thing they have on defense is Max Crosby, pretty much. But I don't think they can play. I don't think they can cover their big play guys, in Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. So I think they're going to have a field day there. But the Cowboys go as Dak go.
Yeah.
If he's throwing interceptions, the Cowboys are not going to win. I can see Gentry having a good game tonight.
Yeah.
And if the Raiders go out and they rush the ball and they get a little momentum and throw it to Bach Bowers and they use their running game, which is the weak part of the Cowboys, they can't defend. So it's going to be a good game, I think.
I think it's definitely going to be a good game.
And the thing about it is, it's on Monday night, so you know
that's
you
what I was gonna say.
got a national audience,
Yep.
and they're at home. They're in Vegas.
They're in home at Vegas. It's
So-
this is the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
You're the
yeah,
Raiders.
yeah,
Everybody on the
yeah.
Raiders is the Super Bowl. You're playing the Cowboys.
You're playing the
Monday Night
Cowboys,
Football.
and you know it's going to be a lot of people watching. So, man, when you get in that situation, you usually tend to come out and play your A game.
Yeah, I think it'll be a closer game, maybe into the fourth quarter. But I agree with you. This team goes as Dak goes. We were praising Dak at the beginning of the season for having an almost MVP type season. That was getting wasted by the defense. But the last couple of weeks, the defense played bad, but we got to look at Dak. You played against Denver. There was no production there. Then you backdoor that and play against Arizona, who's not good on either side of the ball, with a backup quarterback, and you lose 27-17. Now this one is like, okay, Dak, we were giving you some grace at the beginning, but we're going to have to look at you like, why are we not scoring against Arizona?
Right.
You got to score against Arizona.
You got to score.
Same with Vegas tonight. If there's not a 30-plus tonight, because this is supposed to be your warm-up game for your last stretch run that you can try to go on in the season, where after this, you're going to play Philly, then you're going to play Kansas City on Thanksgiving, then you're going to play Detroit a week after that. Then you're going to play a Vikings team that's going to be scraping, trying to save their season. Then you're going to play a Chargers team that's trying to stay and keep Kansas City from underneath their feet right now. So you're about to go on a 6-game stretch of all teams playing top football and needing to get wins. So if you want to have any shot, which I don't think they have much of a shot of making the playoffs, but if you want to have any shot, it's got to start tonight against the Raiders, and it's got to start by making a statement that we're not going to get stopped regardless of what your defense does. The defense is the defense at this point. Regardless of what they do, offense got to make it. We're not punting the football. Every time we come out here, we're trying to score a touchdown. We are not trying to get no punts. We know we got Brandon Arbery, the best kicker, and all that.
And I'm interested to see what these new acquisitions going to do for the Cowboys.
Yeah, the Quentin Williams.
Is it going to make a difference? Is it going to make a difference? So we'll see what that adds to the Cowboys. But like you said, the Cowboys are led by their offense, man. It's all Dax, CeeDee Lamb, Javonte Williams, and Pickens.
Yeah.
And so that's the Cowboys are going to go as far as those guys take them.
That's what you got. Everyone wanted to compare him to.
And let's not forget Brandon Arbery.
Yeah, and Brandon Arbery, the best
player on that
the
team.
best player on that, probably on both sides of the ball is Brandon Arbery. They're gonna need him to kick a bunch of 60-yarders the next few weeks with the gauntlet they got.
Man.
It's indoors. It's in Vegas. Everybody feeling good. I'm sure y'all had a real good Sunday night or Saturday night. Y'all, what time? If you play on Monday, Wayne, what time do y'all get to the city if you're traveling? They get there on Friday, or they get there on Saturday?
They get there on Sunday.
On Sunday, okay.
They get there on Sunday. On Monday night games, you get there on Sunday.
They ain't want to give them too much free time in Vegas.
So this is how our schedule usually goes. You practice in the morning before you get there, and you bring all your stuff. And but this is so you'll practice before you get there. And then you take a shower or whatever. Then you leave, get on the plane, and you'll go. And when you get there, it's charter, all charter.
Yeah.
So when you get there and everything like that, you won't even check into the hotel first. And so what you'll do is you'll go right to the stadium and you'll just go check out the turf and walk around the stadium and get your stuff in your locker ready and this, that, and other. You might have a walkthrough or something like that. And then you'll get back on the bus and you go to the hotel and then your night is complete. It's all meetings at that point or whatever. But you do get there the day before. You had to in NFL. You had to get there 24 hours early. Okay. Like sometimes when you go on the East Coast, like we was in in San Diego, and we fly all the way to New England. We would go 2 days early, so we can just get accustomed to it. Or we go, and then if we had 2 games on the West Coast. Instead of going all the way back, we'll stay on the West Coast. On the East Coast. We'll stay on the.
If you got 2 games on there, it'll stay on there.
We might play New England and then go play Pittsburgh the week after that. And if we had 2 games on the East Coast, we would stay over for 2 weeks. So everybody does things different, but that's how. That was the schedule.
That's how most of the time it goes. So ain't not too much off time in Vegas, man. You don't want to get them guys too much time out there. Everybody on the Cowboy getting money.
Everything is structured. Everything is structured. You don't even really, probably the little time that you get to spend with your family is maybe 2 or 3 hours, and they're gonna tell you to stay out of the casinos.
So. For sure. I bet. I bet going down there to Vegas. Lots of distractions down there for them, but it's got to start tonight with the Cowboys if they want to be able to do anything. You made these additions. You want to try to get something going. Everybody was comparing. It was cool making the comparisons. Man, Dak is like Joe Burrow last year. Burrow did his part last year. He put up 40 every single game, and whatever the defense is going to do is what they're going to do. If you're Dak, that's the mentality you have to go because you're not mathematically eliminated. No. So you got to go out. It's the playoffs right now. You got to go out there and say, we got to find a way to try to get wins each and every week, especially with games come with Philly, Chiefs, Detroit, all in the next 3 games. Tonight is a must win for the Dallas Cowboys. So it should be an interesting game. They'll start that one tonight off at 7:15. Folks, I want to transition a little bit, talk about some college and some high school football. First, I'll start on the high school level. Wayne, last week you and Rocky got a chance to cover University against Fort Bend Marshall, and what now everybody's talking about is the backup quarterback got to come in and save the day. You talk about walking the halls of high school after that victory on Friday, back on Monday. Well, backup got to be feeling pretty good walking through the halls this week. 35-27 win for them this past weekend against a very formidable opponent in Fort Bend Marshall, who's usually a perennial powerhouse in 5A Division II when you're talking about Texas high school football. But they go out there and win. Tell us a little bit about what happened in that game, Wayne, and the U-Dogs pulling it off.
Man, it was very exciting for me and Rocky to call that game, man. And, hey, I'm going to tell you, it was a complete victory for University. University defense came out to play, and their offense came out to play, and London Smith is going to play.
For sure.
Savoy was on the first couple of series, and then he ended up getting hurt. You had a backup that comes in. And first of all, what they did was they tried to put London Smith at quarterback. which
Yeah.
I thought was a really big mistake because now the whole defense can key on him and they can focus on him at the quarterback position. You know, and you take your best athlete, you put the ball in his hands, but he's a better playmaker once you put him outside and you can put him in motion and you can put him in the backfield. You can do so many things with him. So, but they brought their quarterback in. They brought the backup quarterback in, and he probably made the biggest play of his life, man. Something he'll probably remember for the rest of his life.
Absolutely.
But hey, and he threw a strike, a post to London Smith right across the middle, man. I mean, you could have placed it in his hand. So it was a great throw. University ended up getting the victory. Fort Bend had the quarterback, man.
Caden Johnson.
Caden Johnson, man. KK.
Yeah.
And man, he was a beast. He was hard to contain, but they end up intercepting him 3 times. And I think that was the key to the whole game. It was that they got turnovers. University got turnovers, and they didn't.
Yeah, that was when I was going back and rewatching and watching you guys broadcast and rewatching the game. Man, the turnover was the first thing I thought of and stuck out because they coined that to be the no-fly zone before this year started, and that defense has carried them through a lot of games this season. Kylan Estelle getting a pick to end it.
Yeah, he got 2 of them.
He got 2 in the game, and then got the one that ended it all. Him and Jeremiah Green have been monsters on the defensive side of the ball all season long, terrorizing quarterbacks. But just finding a way to win, as you said, just a complete total team win from those guys out there. London wasn't able to do it all on the offense. I know they've seen them do a lot this year, but I was really glad to see that even when Savoy went out, eventually they went away from it and said, hey, we don't want this guy to try to do everything out here on the field because he can't do it all. It's got to be a team.
And let me say, Jalen, they ran the ball really great.
Yes.
They
both the running backs.
Yeah, both running backs did a great job of rushing the ball, man. University played some heck of a football. Like I said, I was proud to call that game, me and Rocky, man, and it was a great game. It went all the way down to the last minute of the game.
Yeah, that was a huge win for University as they haven't been able to get some playoff wins the last few years, even when getting into the playoffs. This is all those things that Coach Foster talked to you and me about, Wayne, at the beginning of the year. It's not just going out here and getting better. We want to win district, but they checked that box off. We want to win games in the playoffs. They've checked off one of those now, and now you get a chance to keep going. This weekend they'll play against Bastrop, a team that's got to play some of the teams here locally in town. They played against the China Spring team earlier this year, so we've seen a little bit of Bastrop, but University get a chance to play them on Saturday. I believe that game will be at UMHB, so that'll be a huge game as well. We'll be working with Dave Campbell's again and calling that game again this weekend. So that I'm super excited to be able to watch this University team play. Last week I wasn't able to watch them in person, but like I said, went back and rewatched those highlights of what those guys did, and they're live to make a run in the playoffs. When you find out about your team like that, you get in the game against a very experienced team like Fort Bend Marshall, and you find a way to win with your backup. That says a lot about the team. That says a lot about Coach Foster.
And University started out 21-0.
Mm-hmm.
And Fort Bend came all the way back and took the lead at one point. And you could see all the air go out of the stadium and out of the players, but they were resilient, came back and played some heck of a ball from the fourth quarter. The fourth quarter was a big quarter for University where they came back, and it could have easily went the other way, but these kids didn't give up. They played hard. They wanted to win, and they got the win.
When you go in a playoff game and you get 500 yards of offense and your quarterback missed half the game, you're gonna feel good about yourself going into the locker room. Everyone found a way to win. You rushed for 290 yards. That's huge right there alone. That's a recipe for winning in the playoffs.
And my deal was, and one of the things that I seen in analyzing the game, which I was on the air and I was talking about it, I wouldn't have never stopped running the ball. I mean, every time they rushed the ball, it was 5-6 yards. Which puts you in third and short. Every time they went for it on fourth down, except for one, and that's when London Smith was at quarterback, and you can just focus and you can key on him. Is the only time that they didn't get it. Other than that, they got it every other time when they went for it on fourth down.
Yeah, that huge team win for the U-Dogs this past weekend. Like you said, running that football, That's the key to success.
Yeah,
when you get
especially in
into
the playoffs.
Yeah,
In the playoffs, man, you want to take advantage of the clock. And the safest way to do that, if you're successful running the ball, is to keep running it and run it down their throat.
Yes, that's exactly what they were able to do, man. So shout out to the U-Dogs going out there and getting the victory. Moving on to the next round. They got Bastrop. Like I said, that game will be this weekend, and it'll be on NFHS and Dave Campbell's, all those things. Will definitely be in the building for that one as well. The game I got to call, got a chance to go to my alma mater. Me and myself and Kyrell, who's on this show a lot, we both graduated from Midway. Got a chance to go back and check it out. Well, it didn't go the way we thought it was going to go. Midway got dominated, honestly, start to finish in this game versus Waxahachie. They came in, everybody saying, oh, they got this guy that's going to Texas and Cohen Brown. They put him at receiver. They put him at safety and all this stuff. He didn't even have to touch the ball. They came in with one game plan, but like you're supposed to do when you're in the playoffs and when you're a good ball club, you adjust to what the game is giving you. They had a running back on their team that was a short and stocky guy, wasn't the fast guy that they have out there. And Jordan Smith, I think, was their home run hitter guy. He's been playing great all year. The backup running back comes in, about 5'9", 200 pounds. No one can tackle this guy. You didn't do anything fancy. They didn't do anything crazy. All they did was hand this guy the ball and make their defense tackle him. It wore Midway's defense out. On the other side of it, Midway just wasn't able to get the ball to Latham Wissington at all. I mean, he had 16 carries for 94 yards in the game, but in the playoffs, I'm expecting it to be 40 carries for whatever amount of yardage he gets or touches, whether it's carries, whether it's catches, screens, putting them out wide, whatever you're going to do. I'm going to give my top guy the ball. They weren't able to do that. That hurt them in the game, and they weren't able to get anything going successfully on offense from start to finish in that game because they came out sold out to stop that run. They were able to stop that run to an extent. Latham Wissington is still one of the better guys, so we still going to break some stuff off.
And I don't understand why they didn't give him the ball, man.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
Looking at the stats,
I
mean, you got to get your playmakers. You got to get the ball in the hands of your playmakers. And
the guy that got you there, he got 1,500 yards on the season. If this is going to be potentially your last game of the season, why not go out swinging with your best guy out there? So I mean, hey, they weren't able to be successful in there, but Waxahachie definitely got a really good team. They got two monster safeties. I believe the younger dude that's been going viral, Jaquan Snell, everybody's been watching him and say he's 6'3", 200-pound safety. He went viral for knocking people out against Duncanville, all this kind of stuff. I think he just committed this morning to Texas A&M, who we're going to talk about a little bit later. You got one safety committed to A&M, the other safety going to Longhorns. It's going to be tough for people to get wins against them moving forward in there. But still, all in all, another great season for the Panthers, man. These guys are still, as I said on the broadcast, just 3 years ago, they were 1-9. So they've come a long way in the last 3 years. Coach Joe Gillespie's done a great job.
It's a process.
It's definitely a process. And all their best players outside of McNair, their quarterback, they're all coming back. A lot of the guys on the defensive side of the ball, juniors, their only receiver that scored in Jacoby Hamilton, he's coming back. Latham Wissington's coming back. Jaden Fields-Vaughn's only a sophomore, so he'll be back for a couple more years.
They're going to be scary next year.
Yeah, they got a lot of talent coming back next year, so still shout out to Midway and Coach Gillespie on another great year. You finished the season 9-2, nothing to sneeze at whatsoever, but they got taken out in that game. Couple scoring updates from those games this past weekend, the ones we didn't talk about. Duncanville also playing in that bye-district against the same district Midway's in. They took out Temple 35-14. Highland Park took out Lake Belton 56-13. Belton lost to Iowa Colony 54-14. La Vega picking right back up where we left off from last year, man. Pirates 42-0 skunk against LaGrange, man. La Vega's poised to get right back to the state championship, in my opinion, guys.
No doubt.
They can adapt and win games however you need them to do it. They'll run the football. They'll pass the ball with Courtney Parr. Their defense is getting better and better and better each and every week. Another shutout this week. So shout out to La Vega. They got another big game coming up this weekend. Robinson against Madisonville was a huge win. I picked Robinson to win in this game. But to see this high-powered offense that me and Wayne have talked about all year put up 60 in the playoff opener, that's encouraging when you move forward into the season.
But the thing about it, you give up 40 though.
You gave up 40, and that's been their issue all year.
That's been their issue all year. You can score 60, but you give up 41. So.
Yeah, that's tough when your defense is going to give up like that. They'll definitely have to try to bear down on the defensive side of the ball, especially with this upcoming week. It's only getting harder and harder each week. They got a formidable opponent that we've got a chance to watch a couple of times this upcoming week, and that's West Orange Stark. So Robinson going to have to definitely strap it up and buckle up for that game. I forget where they said they're playing at, but it's somewhere about 2 hours away in East Texas, something like that, because no West Orange Stark is far, and they got to find a middle ground to play. Gatesville, we had questions about them all year long. They limp into the playoffs after losing the last couple, and it hurts when you limp into the playoffs like that. And they got pretty much shut out in this game, 37-6 against Sealy. Weren't able to replicate that success they had at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, and they the only team who lost in that district.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And the other team that came out of that district, the least likely candidate to win anything, China Spring, man, you can't do anything with winning culture and championship DNA. That's what China Spring has. They had every reason to be the underdog in this one. You're playing one of the top teams in 4A, talking about Belleville, who's been in the Final Four teams in 4A Division II for the last 3 or 4 years in a row. China Spring just finds a way to win. That's all this team does. They find a way to win. All odds against them. They go out there in overtime, take out Belleville to get a win, man. Shout out to their coaching staff, Coach Betty over there at China Spring. These dudes, like I said, you can't do anything with championship culture and championship DNA.
I mean, man, winning is a habit, I'm telling you, man. And that starts when these kids are in the 7th, 5th, and youth football, really, because you want to go and you want to duplicate what those guys above you have done. So it starts right then when you have a winning culture, a winning environment, and a winning team. It kind of works on its way up, and it starts in the youth programs and then in the junior high. So, man, it may be a down year.
Yeah.
But all it's doing is rebuilding, and these guys know how to win. So.
And a lot of young dudes, just like we talked about with Midway. Krishan Gregory is a junior. Their quarterback, Jackson Knapp, I think is a sophomore or junior. So a lot of these guys are going to be coming back. But they move forward another round of the playoffs. They got something that we just talked about that can translate into playoffs, and that's running the football. As bad as China Spring was or inconsistent all season long, Krishan Gregory was able to run that football for China Spring. They're able to do it again this week against Belleville. I mean, they're going to be hot. They're going to be the super underdogs in every game they play now, moving forward.
No doubt,
but that doesn't even matter
because they were the 4th team coming out of that
last
district.
team. They were 3-7, 3-7 getting into the playoffs. Far from a winning record. Found a way to win. They'll play against Lamarck, who's another really good team. And they're playing out in Magnolia, where they'll be playing. But I mean, hey, you got to give China Spring a puncher's chance now after seeing what they just did against a 9-win Belleville team that was projected to go far again in the playoffs. So that's why they play the games. You go out there and play regardless of record and all that. Once you get in the playoffs, everything is a toss-up once again, man. Whitney got a chance to win over Whitesboro. Their offense still doing amazing thing. Kobe Haynes, I think, had 4 touchdowns in this game. Phenomenal. West got taken out by Pilot Point, 45-13. Fairfield, they met their mark again, 60 points.
That's their quota, man. Their quota is 60.
And I was like, oh, well, maybe this the playoffs and something will change. I think it was 10-7 with Anahawk having the lead in the first quarter when I checked on it and was like, okay, maybe it's the playoffs and things will change. By the time I looked up, Fairfield had 40 already. I said, man, you're not going to be able to do nothing with the player. In 3A Division I, it's going to be hard for anybody to knock out Fairfield this year with the offense playing the way they have. McGregor got taken out by Yoakum 66-22. Troy got taken out by Columbus 48-0. Clifton, even though they had a really good year this year, taken out by Henrietta 54-7. Hamilton got a win over Tioga 42-20. Axtell, another really good team in this Central Texas area, they found a way to win over Cayuga 31-13. Valley Mills got taken out in that same district with Axtell and Dawson and all those guys. Got taken out by Price Carlisle. Mildred found a way to win over Dawson. Bosqueville, despite the good record and good season this year, lost big against Frankston 69-29. Crawford, a team that really got better as the season went on, man. They looking really good in 2A Division I. They got to win 29-7. Rosebud Lot, another team in that same division, got to win over San Saba 31-7. Moody taken out by Thorndale 42-7. Marlin, a team that really snuck into the playoffs at the last second, they got taken out by Mason in that one 61-15. Bremont, team that we expect to be right back in state, man. 55-24 win over Sims Bowie. Chilton had a huge scare. I mean, they were down by, I think, 17 at one point in this game and had to come back to take out Clarksdale. So we'll have to keep our eye on Chilton. I said all year long I expect them to make a deep run in the playoff. Glad to see that they were able to pull it together and get a win. But, man, had a huge scare this past weekend against Clarksville. And then Mart getting back to however inconsistent they were in the regular season. They look like Mart always looks when they got in the playoffs. They get a win 40-8 over Cumbie. Aquila got a big win 70-6 over Burkeville. And then Chester took out Coolidge 52-6. Gordon takes out Jonesboro 52-6. Bluffdale takes out Mount Calm 70-30. So those are those games, playoff games. Another batch of playoff games. A lot of teams in the Central Texas area lost this past weekend, but a lot of teams will still be moving on. Yeah. So it'll be some more fun games this weekend. We'll give you guys some more updates on where we'll be at this next coming up weekend as well. No, we'll be doing University as they'll be playing against Brass Drop at UMHB. That game is on Saturday. So we're looking forward to that one as well. A couple of quick takes before we jump into college here to end it off here today, folks. Virginia Tech finds their coach. James Franklin was linked to these guys all season long, so I'm not surprised by them coming out and hiring James Franklin as their coach. What do you think about him getting a job over at Virginia Tech after being fired by Penn State and trying to revive that Virginia Tech program?
And I think he will. I mean, that's what he did for Penn State.
Exactly what he did.
Revived. He just couldn't win the big game.
Yep.
But now he moves on to another conference, a Power 4 school. And I think they'll do great behind him and his leadership. He's always been a good coach, and he's always won wherever he's been. So I don't see nothing changing with his direction as he moves on to Virginia Tech.
Yeah, I love the hire for Virginia Tech. He was linked to them all year long after he got fired, and I like it for James Franklin because he's a program builder. We watched him do it at Penn State. When they were they had nothing going good for them at that point. They're just coming off the Sandusky scandal and all this stuff. Joe Paterno was finally gone after 40-plus years of being there. They were in limbo in the Big Ten, still having to play Michigan, still having to play Ohio State every single year. He brought those guys back. Could he win the big game? No. But a lot of coaches don't win the big game. But it ain't a lot of coaches getting 8-9 wins every single year that they're there, recruiting the Saquon Barkleys, recruiting the Michael Parsons, the Abdul Carters in there. Virginia Tech needs that. Yeah,
they do need that, and you know they need that stability and somebody that can lead their program into the future. And he gets to add on to that buyout, that big buyout that he just got. So, I mean, man, they'll do good under his tutelage. Like you said, he's won everywhere he's won, and what he did for Penn State, man, after that scandal. Yeah, man, that just shows you. What a good coach and what a good director he's going to be to direct that football team.
Because people say, oh, it's Penn State, so he's supposed to win there. That's not necessarily true just because they were a big program. When you come out of the big scandals like that, some teams never – look how long it took SMU to get back being good. Look at Nebraska right now, who's a middle-of-the-pack team. But, I mean, you played when they were the most dominant teams possible, and they still haven't been able to get back to that.
And then on the Penn State deal, one of my good friends is a coach there, a guy that played receiver with me, man, in the CFL, man, and I watched him, and I thought about a lot of stuff, man. Used to be my roommate on the road, man. Terry Smith, man, a good guy. Yeah. And I hope they give him that job because he was a great receiver, a great person, man, and I mean, just a wonderful, wonderful person, man. A positive guy that you want to be around all the time. And I hope he gets that job at Penn State.
Yeah, definitely, because you want to keep somebody they're familiar with. At this point, the James Franklin move to Virginia Tech tells me that it's going to be a scramble to get coaches. Everybody was ready to fire their coaches, Florida and LSU and all these people, but now who you gonna go get? Matt Rule re-upped in Nebraska. Kurt Cinetti re-upped in Indiana.
And I think
who you gonna go get?
And to make him the interim after they fired James Franklin, man, that says a lot about him and his character.
Exactly.
And man, I really do hope this guy gets, man, a wonderful, wonderful guy, man. Terry Smith, one of my boys, man, for real.
Coach Franklin moving on, and it's gonna be, like I just said, a complete and total scramble to get coaches, man. That last couple of weeks of the season is going to be crazy. We're going to see people leaving before bowl. As soon as it hits bowl season, we're going to see coaches, Tulane coach, the U of H coach. All these people, they're not even going to play their bowl games with their team because coaches are going to have to fill these spots in. And Virginia Tech's already got their guy. And you still got the LSU, you still got the Floridas, Arkansas needs a coach.
Yeah.
You still got all these head coaching vacancies. Penn State still needs a coach.
Yeah.
All these vacancies got to get filled in quick, man. So that's going to make it very, very interesting to see what happens as they go forward in there. One more quick take, and this one is on the NFL side. We always see the reaction and stuff. We see Jalen Ramsey throwing a punch at Jamar Chase, get kicked out the game. He said, Jamar Chase spit on me. Jamar Chase gets in front of the world and tells a bold-faced lie and says, I didn't spit on anybody. It's like, okay, like they don't have 20-something cameras rolling on you every single game. And we clearly see you in 4K in high definition spitting on this dude. And now it comes down. He ends up getting a 1-game suspension. After that, what did you just think about that whole deal with the Jamar Chase and Jalen Ramsey thing and the spitting? That's kind of crazy.
It's okay to talk noise. And on the DB and the receiver side, more so than any position on the field.
Yep.
I've been in games where they talk about your mama and call you all kinds of things, man, you know. But you really take it too far when you start spitting on somebody, man. That's just nasty. So much disrespect.
Yeah.
And that deserves a fight.
Yeah.
That deserves a fight. When a guy spits on you and puts his slob on you, that deserves a fight, man.
That's the same thing Jalen Ramsey said. He said football was out. As soon as he spit on me, all football stuff was out the window.
It's out the
window,
fighting
man. Right then and
there. And they need to find. They need to suspend him. I mean, and then you say you didn't do it, man. If you're gonna be a man, just be a man of your word. Yeah, I spit on him because I didn't like what he did. This, that, another. But yeah, like you say, it's 30 cameras around you, and everybody sees
every angle.
You know. And you spit on a man, but you can't do that, man.
Nah.
You taking it too far.
Way too far.
You taking competition too far when you start spitting on someone, man.
It's disrespectful.
That's just very.
It's another grown man.
Yeah, it's another grown man. You spitting on him, man.
Like, come on, man. You lucky he didn't body slam you. Somebody else might have body slammed you. You lucky you just said, I'm gonna just throw these punches and get ejected real quick. I don't want to mess my wallet up. But you're doing something like that. Then you're losing by 30-something, so you're really mad that y'all season is down the drain and you're losing. We putting a beat down on you with our backup quarterback, and now you mad.
And then the thing about that, you do it between the whistles, you do it between the lines, the white lines, and then when the game is over with, you go and you shake hands, man.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what you do as far as being a competitor. But when you spit on somebody, that's just taking it too far.
That's disrespect.
Right?
That's
way
taking
it too far because you talking about two of the best, like in the league, man.
Exactly.
You talking about guys that have multiple All-Pro seasons. You know, arguably the best receiver in the league. Jalen Ramsey, we can't say he's the best, but he was at one point. He was the best defensive back in the league.
Yeah.
So
for a long time.
It's all about respect, and you have to respect another man.
And you think they would have it? They played against each other in the Super Bowl. Like they've got a lot of history between the two. You think it would be more respect there from Chase's side. I heard Cam Newton say earlier that he played against Jalen Ramsey, and he's one of the biggest trash talkers that's out there in the league. But he said he's going to be the very first person to meet you after the game, shake your hand, and say, "Man, great game. I love competing against you." All that, because that's what it's supposed to be about.
Right. Man, you're not my friend when we playing between the white lines.
Absolutely.
You're not my friend. I'm trying to beat you at every turn.
Yep.
So I mean, you keep it in that perspective, and that's what you do. You keep it in that perspective. You have respect for one another. To compete against each other, and if I get beat or if I beat you, that's respect. But you don't spit on me, and I'm not gonna spit on you.
Come on, that's just taking it way too far. Jalen Ramsey was feeling generous by just punching you, because some other dudes in the league would have did more than just throwing a punch. Especially you only $190, $180, man. You start spitting on some of these defensive guys. Man, these some big old guys on the defensive side of the ball, but
you don't want that, man.
No,
you don't want that. You don't want that.
Not at all.
Because they can tee off on you at any time.
Yeah, exactly. You know, man, that's not good. It's not good for his business and all that kind of stuff either. So Jamar Chase definitely got to do better. But you'll feel it when you don't get that check on Tuesday. When is the pay? Is it Tuesday? When is the payday? The day that it deposit? Tuesday.
On the off day.
When that check don't hit on Tuesday, you'll think about it. You'll think about that spit. You'll say, man, you getting $40 million a year, so you looking at a $2-3 million spit you just let out by not going out there and playing the game.
That's about $3 million spit.
Now you'll think about it on Tuesday. But I want to get some college football real quick before we get out of here. Got a few minutes left. Starting right there in Texas A&M, man, in one of the biggest games. First off, I want to say I hope that sheriff that works there never works another game. They said he's been relieved of his duties from working the game. I hope he never works another football game, not even high school. I don't want him to go to high school games, JV games, nothing.
Not Pop Warner.
Nothing
I don't
at all.
want you to see him on the streets,
Nuh-uh.
man, because a guy like that, man, you just think, man, a guy like that catch you alone, man.
Yeah, exactly.
With that type of anger, and he intentionally did that. It
With
wasn't
cameras
like,
on him,
Yeah,
once again.
it's intentionally, and he did that with millions and millions of people watching. So just
100,000
think
in
what
the
he would
stand.
do if no one's watching.
Pulling you over in Bryan, Texas with
Yeah.
no lights outside and all
Yeah,
that. Man,
yeah.
come on,
Yeah,
bro. Like
man,
that's crazy. These are kids.
Yeah.
That's somebody 20-year-old that you
yeah.
out here trying to buck up to and run
just
into.
think about a grown man. Just think about
You
somebody.
done. You done. He pull you over, go ahead and tell him what's in the car, man, because you're going anyway.
Dark road,
No,
man.
I don't want to see that
Yeah,
dude
man. No, I don't
nowhere.
wanna see
But
that, man.
thankfully, he didn't get a chance to take away from the game that happened in the first half and what we saw in the second
and a great
half
game.
was
A
better.
great game.
Great game.
He took something away from a great game. Texas A&M, they hopped on it fairly quickly because before the game was over, he was gone.
Yeah. Before the
gone.
game was over, yeah.
He was out
They
of
got
there.
him out of there. They knew it was going to blow up and be a national
And
story.
it was because you start seeing it all on.
I seen it everywhere.
Yeah,
ABC
everywhere.
News,
Yeah,
the stuff that don't even talk about football.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
talked as it should be talked about.
Yeah,
Now. You
but
running into
that's,
these guys, come on.
A guy with that type of authority, a guy that's supposed to be protecting people.
Exactly.
You take
Supposed
away
to be
from the
protecting
integrity of the game, especially when you have two guys of color, and you are a Caucasian guy, and you bump these guys intentionally. Man, that's just doing too much, man.
You're doing way too much.
That's doing too much. And you a DPS trooper?
Yeah, you're a trooper.
Yeah.
So you got all the authority in the world.
And you probably patrolling from Houston all the way, probably about Bell County.
Yeah.
With Fall County.
Yeah,
Moreland,
Fall County going
round
up,
in that
going
way.
up Highway
so
6.
It's no telling, man. We can run into that
Yeah,
guy one
I'm
day.
hoping I
Man,
don't.
I'm hoping I don't either, man.
I hope I don't. Y'all know I'm going to jail if he put me over. If he willing to run into a 6'3", 220-pound football player, he sure going to take me to jail. So,
and that's the thing about it, man. You take that badge and you take that gun off him, and he's nothing.
You ain't even going to look at that guy in the eyes.
But with that authority, it gives you that authority, and you over use it. I mean, you abusive with it because you had no reason for doing that whatsoever.
Something we've seen way too often in this country, the misuse and abuse of the power of the guys with the badge. Especially sheriff departments, and especially I can speak for at least the state of Texas, especially the sheriff departments of the state of Texas. Unfortunately, we see actions like that all the time. This one was just happened to be caught on camera in front of 110,000 people at A&M Stadium.
And it's a lot of good guys out there.
Lots of great
But we're
ones.
just talking about the bad ones.
Yeah, the bad ones.
The bad
Unfortunately,
ones.
we saw that one. These bad ones.
It's a lot of bad ones, but it's an awful lot of good guys, man, that wouldn't do that, and that's respect and that don't abuse their badge and their position. And we're talking about the bad ones because it is some bad ones out there, and I can tell he's one of the bad ones.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
you can tell. So don't stop me nowhere.
No.
Wherever you are,
I don't even want to go to College Station for the next couple of weeks just in case he out and still mad that his face all over the television.
Yeah, that's the one that you get shot and then they find a gun and you didn't even have a gun in your car. He had a 22.
They don't put dope in your trunk. They don't put a gun on you. They don't hit you with 20 years fed time before you can even say something to them. So.
Exactly.
Nah, man. But the game ended up being a great game. South Carolina came out on fire to start it. And really, their defense was able to turn Marcel Reed over. I was ready to come out here and say, man, Marcel Reed, the streak of him playing great finally ended and A&M finally lost. I was ready to say it. I love Marcel Reed, but at the heart of hearts, I'm still an Aggie hater. I don't like when the Aggies do anything good. But this has been the first time, and I've said on the show, in my life that I've ever really rooted for them because I love Marcel Reed. I liked him last year. His ascension from last year to this year has been great. What he was able to do in the second half, I can't think of a time where I've seen somebody play that bad. He threw 3 picks in the first half, could have thrown 5 because they dropped at least another couple, 2 or 3 of them.
Right.
Could have thrown about 5 of them. And came out in the second half and played almost flawless football. Near flawless football. Still finished with 439 yards. Rushed for another 13 yards in that. Casey Concepcion has been everything he was advertised to be when they got him from North Carolina State last year. He is a monster. This A&M defense stepped up because the offense can do their thing, but for the defense to come out and pitch a shutout in the second half after giving up 30 points, that really wasn't their fault. They just kept getting put in bad field position because of interceptions. They pitched a complete – they didn't kick a field goal. They pitched a shutout in the second half, winning by 1 point. Great team win by A&M, and this makes me put A&M in even higher regards, in my opinion, because you show to be down by 30 at half, come back and win a home like that. Shout out to Coach Mike Elko. Shout out to Marcel Reed for having amnesia of what he did in the first half and come out in the second half and play lights out.
Resilience, man.
Yeah.
I mean, to come back from 30 down, you the number 2 team in the nation, 3 team in the nation?
Number 3, yeah.
And for everything to be on the line, man, these kids could have easily given up.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's what kids do sometimes. But they didn't. I want to know what kind of halftime speech Elko gave to these guys. But they came back and they did what they needed to do. And, man, it was a great victory. And they played lights out that second half. South Carolina played a great game the first half. And you were thinking that A&M was probably looking forward to the next game.
Yeah.
You know, they got these big games coming up. They got Texas coming up.
Yeah, a couple of weeks,
in a couple of weeks. So, but you always have to, like Rocky say, football is going to football. And you got to go out and you got to go play every down. You got to go play every play. And every team, you got to play them hard because it's a lot of parity in football. And you playing in the Southeast Conference. And, man, these guys are lucky to come out with a victory.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, honestly,
they're lucky to come out with a victory.
You down 30-3 at halftime.
Yeah.
All y'all get, usually they'll do that in the NFL where I'll buy my offensive line or watch or something. Hey, y'all got NIL money now. Everybody need to be eating free on the defense this week. Everybody in office need to be taking the defense out to go eat. Because if it wasn't for them, with Marcel Reed playing great, they had to pitch a shutout. I mean, not even letting these guys get – dang, they're not even getting past the 50-yard line.
Like you said, a field goal. Yeah. Like you said, a field goal. A field goal would have won the game.
Would have won them the game if they could have just scored one more point in that second half. So the defense played lights out. They got Samford next week. They're going to beat them by 1,000 points. Right after that, they got the Longhorns, who we're about to talk about in a second. So, man, that's huge win for Texas A&M. Huge win for Mike Elko because this is now going to be a historic season for this team. The biggest comeback in history of their program, and they remain number 1 in the SEC, which is the biggest
and
part.
unlike you, I played against them in the Southwest Conference. I played against them for 4 years and couldn't stand them. You know, gig them, all that. I don't like none of their traditions, none of that stuff. But right now, as a fan, I'm rooting for them because for one, they're in the state of Texas, and for two, man, like you say, when you have a team, a special team, and other than Texas and they're from Texas and they're in the Southeast Conference, I want to see these guys win it for the first time.
Me too.
I want to see them win it.
Me too. A&M's got all this rich history and tradition and all this stuff with no wins next to anything. I remember, I forget who it was, I think Ryan Williams when he went on a visit last year and they were filming it and he said, I still ain't seen no football trophies, though. They showing me all this stuff. I ain't seen no football trophy. They don't really have no wins in anything like that. So that's why this is such a historic season. If they can not only win, but then to win the SEC potentially. And then who knows what they can do in the playoffs when you got a quarterback that's special like Reed.
And what it does for recruiting and everything else, man. Especially with them giving out money. They were the top team in NIL 2 years ago.
As soon as NIL came out, they were right there, number 1.
Yeah, with Jumbo Fisher. Now Texas Tech owns that distinction. But that's another thing. But
a lot of good football in Texas right now with the sound, and a lot of money getting spent.
Yeah,
for sure. With the Longhorns, with Tech. With A&M, it's a whole bunch of bread getting spent right now in Texas. Shout out to A&M for getting that win, man, and staying alive. I want to talk about their counterpart in the Texas Longhorns, who they'll be playing against in a couple of weeks. They drop a game against the Georgia Bulldogs, a game that I expected them to lose. We talked about it, I think, last week or the week before. I didn't have them winning in this game. What this just shows me, this eliminates them from playoff contention, in my opinion. They're not mathematically eliminated, but with you having 3 losses now, 2 of them being in the SEC. Ole Miss only has 1 loss. All these teams. Georgia's only got 1 loss. Now they got the win over you. A&M has no losses over you. So it kind of just puts you behind the 8 ball as far as your playoff hopes. now. Not completely out of it, but most likely out of it. In this game, what I took away from it is Arch Manning and his offense just still has not figured it out. And it's not all on Arch Manning. It's on Sark as well. They were running the ball at a decent clip with Trey Wisner. Why did they stop running the ball? Trey Wisner only got 9 carries in that game. And the game didn't get away from him until the fourth quarter when they threw that interception for 1. And then I think it was a fumble that they ended up picking up. Oh, no, it was the onside kick. That's what I was thinking about. The onside kick changed the game. Yeah. It was close game, still right there. They go out, they take the lead, 14-7, I think it was. And then they kick the onside kick to get the ball back. Oh, it was 21-10. They get the onside kick back. After that, it was a wrap. So I still don't like this offense from Texas. Haven't liked it all year long. On the other side of it, Gunnar Stockton is way better than what I gave him credit for. Each and every week, he finds a way to win. Regardless of what it is, they find a way to go out there and win. And the game plan for him, which Sark should take notes, is perfect. They never ask him to overextend himself. And the one game they did early in the season when they played Tennessee, they scored 40-something points, and he does throw for 5 touchdowns. In a game like this, he throws 4 touchdowns. Never had to stretch the field too far, play action rollouts, getting a quick game going, complimentary run game as well. The game plan by Kirby Smart, him taking a chance on that onside kick in the fourth quarter when it could have went really bad, and they gave them the ball in good field position. Those are all the things that make Kirby Smart a future Hall of Fame coach. What do you think about the Bulldogs taking out the Longhorns this past weekend?
Well, just like you said, and like you alluded to, man, with Texas, I think, everybody putting a lot on Arch, and he's under tremendous pressure to get it done because of who he is and because of the school that he's at. And it's not all on him. It's Sark. As an offense coordinator, you have to put your quarterbacks in a position to be successful. You have to know his limitations, what he can do and what he can't do. And you have to game plan off of that. So week in and week out, that's what you do. And I don't think he's done the best job of doing that for Arch Manning.
No.
Sark has been one of the best play callers in the whole country. I mean, for years and years. And we won some championships at Alabama. Had been doing a tremendous job at Texas when he had what was the guy he had last year?
Quinn Ewers. Quinn Ewers, yeah.
And then you think that when you bring a guy like Arch Manning, you can even take it a step higher because he's a better player. I think their offensive line is not as good as it was last year.
It's terrible.
So it's not the same team.
It's not.
So when you game plan, you have to do different things according to what your team can do and what your quarterback can do, and I don't think they put him in position to do that. And, like we said, Georgia was a better team.
Oh, yeah. Man,
Georgia was a better team. They came out, you can just tell the energy that they had. They felt like they were a better team. They were a more physical team. And I have a problem with that. I have a problem with that because when you recruit Texas and you recruit Georgia, you going out to the top 1 or 2, 3 guys in the country every year. So you're going to be 1, 2, 3 in the top 5 in recruiting. So you can get these guys, but the physicality comes from the weight room and what you absorb from the coach and that coaching staff. And I think that it's some things that need to be done at Texas because I just don't think they have it. I don't think they have it right now.
This ain't it right. The team they have right now is not a championship winning team or a playoff contending team.
No, it's not.
In my opinion, they're not. No. I mean, going into the season, they were literally the number 1 team in the nation, and at this point in the season, I think they might be the 3rd best team in the state of Texas.
Yeah, and I think
just in the state of Texas alone.
And I think they got them ranked in the top this week in the rankings.
They're 17 is what
17,
they dropped to.
Yeah,
they moved down to 17.
I mean, even with 3 losses.
Yeah, they still putting them right there at 17.
and I don't even think they belong and deserve to be that high.
No, I think they should fall some more. And after they lose to A&M, I think they might fall out of the rankings, which would be crazy for the team to start preseason number 1 to fall out the rankings. But they just might fall out because I don't see how they're going to beat A&M.
No,
they're like, it's at home, and they're going to do. Hey, man, that home stuff ain't going to take you so far.
Yeah,
you got to go out there and beat them boys.
And then the thing about it is, A&M is going to be playing for something.
Yes, because it's going to be playing for the first undefeated season probably in
Texas
history.
is just going to be playing for a bowl game.
That's it. That's it.
Because I can't see them getting in that top 12.
No, I don't know. They're not going to get in that top 12. So they'll be playing for a bowl game, and that means half the guys people might not even show up to play out there.
Yeah,
They might.
yeah.
I'm sure people already got their agents, got transfers lined up for them, all types of stuff.
Because then
with Texas.
you're going to talk about people transferring,
Mm-hmm.
the portal.
Yep.
Then you're talking about guys that's going to the NFL
Mm-hmm.
that's not going to want to play because they don't want to risk getting hurt.
Yep.
So you have all these things that you have to deal with, man. But if you're playing on for a national championship and you're in that top 12, then you do want to play.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
if you're not, sometimes you don't want to risk injury and you don't want to risk millions of dollars. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of things to consider from the players if you at Texas.
Lot on the line these last 2 weeks of college football. Crazy that we've already made it to the last couple of weeks of college football. We're out of time here, but Wayne, I got to ask you, I'm looking at this top 5 over here. Ohio State number 1. They've been playing great. Indiana's played great. A&M's played great. Then you got Georgia, Ole Miss, Oregon. And finally, you got your Red Raiders there at number 6 or number 7 right now is what we'll see with the coaches or with the college football playoff ranking. I think they're getting ready to do that at 7 o'clock coming up here now. I don't see that big of a gap when I'm watching Texas Tech play and from some of these other teams that are ranked in front of them. That's just my opinion. I think Ohio State is probably still at the top of that. Julian Sainz way better than what I gave him credit for. A&M I just spoke about, I think being right there. But Tech, the way that they dominate competition, even in the big games, everybody wondering what are they going to do against BYU? What are they going to go do against Utah?
Yeah.
They dominated in those games. They're sitting at number 7 right now. I'm interested to see where they're going to rank them. But do you see a huge gap between them and the Ole Miss and the Oregon? I don't see a huge gap.
And I don't. And I seen so they got Texas Tech and Oregon playing in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
This is what they projected it to be.
Yeah, yeah.
The teams that has buys are Ohio, Indiana, Texas A&M, just like you see it up there.
And Georgia.
Georgia.
Yeah.
And so then you go down to the second tier, and then they had Texas Tech and Oregon or something like that, and they had Alabama still in.
Yeah, Alabama's still in right now, even with the loss to Oklahoma.
Yeah, and
but we know that could change.
But then they had Oklahoma in too. So
they don't know what they want to do yet. It's confusing.
But I'm happy for my Red Raiders.
Yeah,
and we should close out the season with I think we got West Virginia as our last game.
Yeah.
And I think we go to West Virginia, and then I think that we can go and get a victory there, and we'll stay right in, go dominate them, and we'll probably stay in that 6th spot, that 6th or 7th spot, because and then we'll play the Big 12 championship game, and
probably against BYU or Utah. And you beat
Utah.
both of them.
Yeah, and we already beat them. But if we beat them again, then I think we can probably end up in the top 5. But right now, I don't.
They gotta get a bye.
I don't see the needle moving though. I don't see the needle moving with Ohio State. That'll play probably
They don't
Indiana.
play. Yeah,
they'll probably play Indiana in the championship.
Yeah.
I can see Georgia playing A&M, and then I can see
Loser of that won't get the bye, in my opinion. Loser of that game won't get a bye. Indiana maybe, because their only loss is going to be to Ohio State if I pick them to lose in the Big Ten championship.
And it depends on how bad they beat them or how they look in the game.
Exactly. Because if they go out there and get blown out, they'll kick them off a bye. The point is Tech got to get a bye. That's my point. Tech's got to get. They're going to destroy West Virginia.
And I blame it on Tech because we lost a game early in the year
Arizona State.
To Arizona State that we shouldn't have lost.
Yeah.
I mean, we wasn't focusing. We didn't go out. So you got to go out and handle your business too.
Sure.
So, I think we do deserve a bye because we dominated the Big 12 all year. And so when you have teams from multiple conferences that's attached to it, I don't want to see 2 teams come out of the same conference that get a bye.
That don't make no sense. I really hope they don't give Big Ten and SEC 2 teams that have a bye. That'll make it. It should be the 4 power conference winners should be the teams that get the bye.
And that's my only argument for it all. I don't think that 2 teams from the same conference should get a bye.
If you lost, regardless of your record, you got to play on the first weekend.
Yeah,
that's how it should be, like wild card.
Exactly.
Everybody
if
else,
you don't win your conference outright, then you don't deserve to get that bye.
Yeah, I agree the same way, but it's going to be interesting. I think the rankings come out tonight, folks. We're out of time here on Centex Primetime. Cowboys getting ready to come on in just a couple of minutes. Rankings coming on here as well. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. I'll be up here. Rocky will be up here with me. We'll talk about Baylor. I ain't even get on the Baylor yet, but I got a whole spiel for them tomorrow. Don't even worry about it. So we got more here planned for tomorrow. Thanks for everybody tuning in with us here today on Centex Primetime. We'll see you guys next time. Everybody have a great evening.